Mazen, thank you so much for agreeing to do this podcast. Welcome to SV Talks, and thank you so much for joining us at ADIEX this year.
Thanks for having me in.
Is it okay to ask you to introduce yourself a little bit and the role that you play in Vetafarm?
Absolutely. So my name is Mazen Mira. I'm working for Vetafarm for the past 10 years. Currently, I'm the International Business Manager, part of the product development for the Falcon products in Vetafarm, category manager for the Falcon and Pigeon. Briefly been working with SPG about developing the market in UAE and attending ADIEX.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. We have an awful lot of questions for you on behalf of our nation of falconers. So falconry has been practiced for thousands of years.
Yep.
What do you think makes it still so popular today?
That's a very good question, actually. Well, thinking about a falcon as a symbol of power, precision,
And beauty.
and yeah, obviously, is one of the things that fascinates a lot of humans across the year. So it becomes part of the heritage, part of the culture, and also represents a big values of companionship between human and nature. And I think nowadays just becomes more and more important to, and it's part of the culture, like
health.
especially for the UAE and other GCC regions, and it's an emblem for lots of countries as well. So I think it's really essential.
For anyone who's interested in getting into falconry who hasn't before, do you have any tips or any pointers that they need to know before they start out?
Absolutely. So talk about training. Husbandry and supplementation is a key essential point, or nutrition. If you talk about nutrition for falconry, this is one of the really key points that maintain the falcon or keeping his health in optimum. You need to have both of your knowledge plus your talent to train a falcon, get yourself into the habit of being patient and observe a lot of your falcon or your animal all the time, making sure it's healthy, it's not having any issues with health conditions or any health problems.
What are the key differences between caring for a falcon in the wild, or what they require in the wild, versus what we need to provide for them when they're in a more controlled environment?
Yeah. So obviously there's two major differences here. We have to talk about it. So falcon in the wild, he's taken a pride of hunting themselves, finding the balance for his diet by themselves. However, they will have some challenges like parasite problem and injuries, and sometimes scarcity of food in the wild as well. On the other hand, when it comes into captivity, or if it's owned by a falconer, the falconer will take the pride of, or taking the responsibility of, committing to give him the appropriate food, cleaning the environment, making everything is controlled, and taking care of his companion bird. So I guess this is one of the major differences here in the wild and the captivity, that it's the responsibility of either the falconer or the actual falcon.
As a result, do you think that we see obesity in falcons because they're presumably not exercising and hunting?
Absolutely. So especially if they are overfeeding the falcons, or if they're not exercising very well, or not having commitment to train them on a regular basis, when they get obese, obviously they will get weight versus the ability to fly properly. It could actually impact the performance, especially if no one is observing his falcon nutrition complete like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any nutrient excesses apart from just calorie excesses that we can see being a problem in our falcons?
If you feed them more supplements, that could actually lead to a toxicity as well, like lead to other health issues, other health problems. So it has to be monitored. You can't give him more, like overfeed him and over supplement his food as well. But that has to be monitored carefully. It has to be per weight or per feed. I guess you have to choose a proper brand like Vetafarm just to make it actually more adjusted to and tailored to the falcon nutrition.
Yeah, because just like any species, too much is just as dangerous as...
Absolutely. And there's certain elements as well which actually can impact the health of the falcon. Like certain vitamins, there's some vitaminosis, hypervitaminosis for them, and there's other supplements that you have to be given in careful standard. Like you don't have to go above certain limits. So we usually take care of that one when we do manufacture our product or formulate our products.
I have heard of a lot of, or some falconers, not a lot, some falconers feeding raw meat and assuming, because that's very close to what they would be hunting in the wild, that that's going to be enough. Could you explain to us why that might not be the case?
Well, let's think about the falcon in the wild. Like yes, they feed on raw meat, but not only one source of meat. They usually varies the source of meat between rabbits and pigeons and snakes and insects and various sources of meat, which can actually provide more nutrition for the falcon. Yes, raw meat is part of the natural feed diet. However, that needs to be supplemented, especially that most of the feed that we have in the market are frozen.
Okay.
Or they come from a single source of protein, which is not enough or sufficient or not sufficient for the falcon nutritional balance. In the wild, the falcon will eat the whole prey, for example. They will eat the bone, the feather, the skin, everything. But if you give them like a frozen quail with defeathered or without the guts, that could be less nutritional for the falcon. So we have to supplement that one too, just to fill the gap of nutrition.
Of course. I've heard a little bit about molting with falcons. Can you explain to us why that's a stressful time on the body, and what actually does molting mean, in case anyone doesn't know?
It is. So it's actually one of the most stressful period of falcons. So the falcon will go through different various stressful season within the captivity. But if you're talking about the molting, which represent at least 50% of the year, so it's 6 months average, that's very demanding period of time. So you lose the feather, so it will need high intake of energy and protein as well. And obviously being very cautious not to disturb the falcon, because you will need not to train them during that period of time. You need to keep them in controlled temperature environment. You will have to monitor the food very well. You have to do regular checkups because it's very stressful, losing all the feathers. So it's obviously painful, and growing new feathers is not an easy job. So for the falcon, they get stressed very easily.
Right. And that wouldn't, so you cannot feed the same ration all year round. You're going to vary the feed for molting.
It has to vary. Obviously, scientifically, it'll be at least double the amount of protein. So they will need, or double the amount of requirements for protein and nutrition during that molting period, just to grow more feathers.
And do they, because they might be stressed during this period, I'm extrapolating here from other species, but do you find that their appetite is variable? So it might be difficult to get that level of protein in. Do we see behavioural problems associated with our falcons that are kept in captivity?
Oh, absolutely. You can see some aggression, you can see some biting, you can see some refusing to flight. So that's actually a cause of stress. So that's mainly if you see that behavior coming out of, or misbehavior coming out of the falcon, that could be related to a stress, that could be related to a disease, or it could be not feeling comfortable with the environment, that could be afraid of the new trainer or new owner. So yes, you will see a lot of these misbehavior, especially with the first introduced falcon to the aviary. If you get a new one, or if it's a stressful period like the molting or mating season, you'll get a lot of this aggression and misbehavior for the falcons.
And do you think that's always a cause for calling in the veterinarian just to see?
Yes, 100% agree with you with that. But as a falcon owner or a falconer, you'll need to observe your falcon every day, on daily basis. Check on him, check on the droppings, check the environment, check whether there's enough hygienes around it, check the water content, fresh water content. Yep. But if you see any alteration of this process, you'd need to call a vet straight away. Okay.
And what role do the Vetafarm supplements play on top of the nutrition in overall health, stamina, and performance?
So we do have other products that have been used for hunting or performance products. When we did that, we just have to make some deep research about what's actually been required for the falcon in nature to help him with the flight or ability to fly properly and improve its endurance in the hunt. So we've developed, beside the normal nutritional supplements, a wide range of product that is actually tailored for the falcon during the hunting season and during the training season and post-training as well. So it will help the falcon to fly without any problems and rehabilitate the fatigue straight away, so without any impact on the health issues or on the liver.
Is it difficult to make the supplements really palatable?
Absolutely.
For recovery, like that.
I agree with that.
It's only good if they actually ingest it willingly.
Especially if you have a predator, or have a predator like a falcon, just feeds on multiple preys. You'll have to find a most convenient, palatable way of choosing a higher palatable products to feed the falcon. That's a lot of, we'll do that, a lot of process to do.
And how can falconers recognize early signs? I think you've covered this to a certain extent. Early signs of illness or nutritional deficiencies. How difficult is it to tell between when does stress become disease?
So falcon and most of the birds in general are very stubborn animals. They tend to show less amount of symptoms just to tell you that they're sick. They always wanted to show you that they're good, they're healthy, just to protect themselves as normal. But you can see some early signs like fluff feathers, you can see some lethargy, you can see some losing appetite, or you can see some reduction in growth weight, or you would see some dropping changes. That would be some of the other signs that the falconer can check on his aviary and go through the droppings and see if there's any change in consistency or the color. That's, I think, one of the major symptoms they can detect whether the falcon is not feeling well or not. The other one may be the wheezing. If they have any respiratory infection, you'll be able to hear some wheezing in their breathing as well.
Is it easy to count their rate? Because obviously they breathe.
You can.
Really quickly.
Absolutely.
You can count.
Yep.
And how often would you recommend weighing the falcons? Daily or?
Well, when they're normal, you don't have to weigh them all the time, but you can actually tell from the look on the perch whether they can actually losing weight or not. So when they start losing weight or they have any issue, any problems, you will have to do it at least every other day. So every 2 days, you can just check the weight. Just monitor the weight sometimes during the molting season because they will need a high energy level as well. So if they're not eating well and they have some other sickness, that could lead to a bad problem for the falcon. So we'll have to monitor that during the molting season, I think, more regularly or more often. But during the hunting season, they can do that one maybe once before the hunting season or after that or in the middle as well.
Are you up for a rapid fire question round?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the answers to all of these are either true or false.
Okay.
So I'll read the questions and you just tell me if it's true or false.
Okay. Happy with that?
I do have the answers as well. So let's see how you get on. Okay. First question is, falcons have better eyesight than humans.
Yes. That's
true.
Yeah.
Up to 8 times better.
100%.
Here. Falcons can adapt easily to urban environments like cities.
Yes, there's some falcon breeds like the peregrine can live into taller, higher buildings in the middle of the cities as normal. You can see a lot of them in Europe as well.
Really? So you wouldn't be thinking you've gone mad if you saw it?
No, just normal over there. Yep.
Cool. All falcons are natural hunters and need no training.
False. They will need training for that. Yeah. So it's a relationship between the falconer and the falcon. So yes, they're natural hunters, but as a falconer, you will need to train your falcon to do the hunt and perform properly.
How long does it take to train a falcon?
It depends on the species and depends on the actual falconer, how clever he is. Like if he has a previous experience, obviously it will take him less time. And there's some falcon breeds are easier to train than the other ones.
Falcons only bond with one handler for life.
That's false. You can have a multiple trainer for the same falcon if they are clever enough. Right. Yep.
Overfeeding is more dangerous than underfeeding for falcons.
100%. We covered that.
Falconry is only for wealthy people. Is it an expensive sport?
I disagree with that. It's false. No. Yeah. Anyone
We've
can
heard
train.
Fantastic stories about how much falcons are worth and their fast travel and everything.
They are very expensive. Like the sport itself is expensive sports, but anyone can train a falcon with a proper guidance. Yes, I agree with that. Yep.
A falcon's average lifespan in proper care is from 15 to 20 years.
That's true. And it can even live longer than that if there's a proper care of the falcon. They can live longer than that as well.
Do they have a retirement age?
Well, they're a hunter. They're a natural hunter. I don't think they have any retirement age.
No, you just adapt the...
Just adapt the
sort of training to the age. Falcons can recognize human faces.
Yes, they can recognize the familiar trainer or not.
Right, now these are not true, false, but then we've kind of been giving answers to those anyway, but I have some more. How long does it take for a falcon's new feathers to grow during molting?
Average between 4 to 6 weeks. That depends on the actual feather and its location on the wing, whether it's a long one or a short one. That's average between 4 to 6 weeks.
And explains why the whole thing would take 6 months.
That is true.
And in a molting season, they will replace all the feathers.
They will start to replace every feather, especially on the wing. That's where they start from, and they can start changing all the feathers across the body. Yep.
What is the main reason that we see falcons wearing hoods?
Just to calm them down. That's actually eliminating the distraction around them.
What is the best time of day to fly your Falcon?
Around the early morning and late day time, like dawn time and sunset time. That'll be the best, just for temperature is better and more prey as well coming around this time. Yep.
Can falcons live in captivity without enrichment or exercise?
Nope. I disagree with that. The falconer needs to be responsible of taking care of everything once they're in captivity.
Degree. That's important, isn't it? They're not able to display their natural behaviour.
Absolutely.
Exercising.
Absolutely.
True. What is one benefit, or what is the one that comes to mind immediately of using Vetifarm supplements during the molting season?
Well, when we developed the molting products or molting supplements, the main reason we focused on was the nutritional or the amount of nutrients that will be given to the falcon during this time of the stressful time. So we had concentrated version of the nutrients and amino acids and other supplements as well, just to balance the diet of the falcon during this stressful time and give him enough nutrient to grow more feathers, healthy feathers, obviously. So yeah, I guess that's one of the main key points that we developed this molting products to the falcons.
How closely do your R&D team and your nutritionists work with falconers in the field?
Very, very close. So we do a lot of what's called like a field visits for a lot of the conservation centers and all of the other falcon centers that we deal with, especially in Australia and other regions across the world. So we're dealing with some other conservation centers in Japan and Spain as well, when we have to go there and visit the falcons, and obviously here in the Middle East, so in GCC, where we can actually visit the falcon, check their habitat and check their natural behavior and start developing product based on their actual needs in the nature. So we don't have to make something out of the nowhere. So it basically matches what their natural environment does or what's their requirement.
Obviously, the GCC is quite a hotspot for falconry.
Absolutely.
Are there others? What other sort of geographical locations are?
There are. Well,
popular.
Considering GCC is the biggest market in the world, but we do have other markets in North America and Europe and Japan as well, and there's some other in New Zealand and Australia. It's not as big as the GCC here, but it's obviously other geographical regions that we have to take care of and adapt some changes in our balanced nutritional supplements just to make it adaptable for other geographical regions. And
is that mainly for conservation, or do you find that, so we did have a few when I was working in the UK, we had a few bird of prey clients that were using them for, not using them, they were working them for pest control.
Yep.
So they were employed
at airports and
exactly.
I can see that a lot in Europe. There's a lot of them in UK, Spain, France. There's other breeder centers as well, because some of the breeds are being bred in different climates from what it is here in the Middle East. So you have to breed, for example, the Gia, which is one of the breeds that lives in colder areas, so in Siberia or in Alaska or in Canada, that has to be brought from there. So yeah, will be different animal and different requirements over there. So we have to cater that market as well without excluding it from our nutritional portfolio.
Amazing. Do you have a favorite breed of falcon?
I would say peregrine. Peregrine is the famous. Yep, I like that.
Why? Can I ask you why?
Just for the speed. It just represents speeds and precision and power. It's very into the Arabic culture as well. It's one of the symbols, and yeah, I like it.
How does Vetifarm ensure its products work across different regions and different breeds of falcon?
So obviously, when we develop the product for a falcon, we have to cater there's a lot of aspects we have to take in consideration. So geographical location, so we would have different nutritional requirement, because obviously the food is different from what it is in Middle East. We have to cater different species, so between small, medium, large falcons, or even different birds of prey. If I can say, we do sell our products to other birds of prey like hawks and eagles and owls and others. So there's different nutritional requirements. So this has to be considered every time we develop a new product. So we have to adjust your dose rate. You have to adjust the nutritional balance. So we'd be in a mid-range that can cover all the range at the same time, or even the actual dosing that has to be adjusted So we obviously mainly focus on the falcon, but if anyone else is interested in feeding our product to other birds of prey, we're happy to give them advice on different dose rate and adjust that one for them specifically, so we can cater markets like North America and Europe and New Zealand and Japan and other markets as well.
And is that all from sort of Vetifarm's experience?
Absolutely.
And sort of feedback that you get from, because there's not an awful lot of research to how to feed birds of prey.
It's mainly from Vetifarm feedback coming back from the veterinarians lives in these areas, or if we attending an event, we usually get in touch, or we get basically across the covering this region with other veterinarians or other specialties in this region. Sometimes you get most of like famous falconers who are dealing with our products, and he wanted to adjust that one in his region and want to give certain dose rate for a bald eagle, for example, or a black hawk. So it's different from what it is in this region, but we have to get that feedback from them and respect it as well. That's taken in consideration.
So what innovations from your work with zoos and some of the conservation areas can be applied to private falcon care?
Really good question. So the zoo industry is all about captivity and reducing stress of the animals that in captivity. So I think this is one of the major focus, or one of the things that we've adapted from this industry, and we're trying to implement this one into the falcon. So we started to develop a couple of years ago a new range, which is actually to maintain the stress for falcons. So this was one of the major things we tried to adopt from this industry and move it across to the falconry, which is really important. So it's pretty much the same. You have an animal, it's captivity, it's been stressed. So how to reduce the stress of that animal? So we're trying to do a new product, which is called Falcon Prime. This is one of the major products we've developed 2 years ago, is to reduce the stress on the falcon. I think that's one of the major innovation that we've adopted recently, and we'll be looking for more innovations in the future, even whether it's from the same field or from zoo and aquarium or zoo field, and we're trying to cross that bridge between two industries and make it more acceptable.
So with the Falcon Prime range, do you feed that before a stressful event, say traveling, or how far ahead of hunting or how far ahead of hunting season do you need to focus on the nutrition?
If it's a newly introduced falcon to the aviary, for example, it'll be stressed around. He's gonna feel strange as a new environment. This is a product to be given during that period, or after it comes from the hunt. So usually when we come after the hunt, they'll be stressed, puffed, exhausted, so you'll need to reduce their stress. So the prime will be better in this case after the hunt.
I've got some myths and misconceptions to record here. What is one common misconception about falconers that you wish more falconers knew?
Falcon needs a lot of attention. They're very sensitive.
And would you always say, believe the handler if they say something's wrong?
Absolutely.
Are they naturally aggressive falcons, or is that a bit of a myth?
They're territorial. They're naturally trying to preserve their area. That's what it is. But they're not aggressive and such. If they give them a proper training and proper handling, they'll be normal animals.
And you can keep them in close vicinity with?
Absolutely. With others as well. Yep.
Okay. Moving on to some advice for aspiring falconers. Mm-hmm. If you had to give 3 golden rules to someone starting out, what would they be?
Observe your falcon in the morning. Watch the droppings. Not overstress your falcon training.
What are the biggest mistakes beginners make?
I would say overfeeding. That's a major problem in the new falconers. They would just keep feeding their falcon and causing them obesity.
Do falcons regulate their own appetite particularly, or would you describe them like a dog? A dog will never regulate its own appetite. For the most part, if you keep feeding them, they keep eating. Is that the same with falcons?
No, they will regulate their appetite.
How can young falconers combine traditional falconry with modern science?
Actually, modern science added a lot to the falconry. Like you're talking about the new modern veterinary techniques, for example, or new controlled breeding technologies that are arising at the moment, and the supplements and medication that we're creating at the moment for all the falcons. This is a new science that actually added up. So the concept's still the same. It's a falconry, but you're using modern technology to help you make your falcon live longer, stay healthier. It's becoming very essential now that they have to count on the modern technology to keep that culture just sustained for a longer period of time.
In other species that, because we're a multi-species company, but we see nutritional trends, particularly in companion animals, that sort of come and go. Sometimes it's raw feeding, sometimes it's fresh feeding, sometimes it's grain-free. Do you see those kind of trends in the way people are feeding their falcons?
Probiotics, I would say that was one of the trends 5-6 years ago, and it's back and forth. Like it's up and goes. Sometimes it comes as a trend and it goes back again. We do believe that probiotics is really essential, especially if you're taking the guts out of the prey. You don't have enough probiotics just to sustain in natural, like in normal habitat. So you need to give them extra source of probiotics. I think that's one of the trends we can see in the past 5-6 years happening now as arising and declining, fading out, and coming back again to the markets.
Amazing. And if you were talking to someone who's about to start a falconry-related business, the market for feeding for nutrition supplements is huge. What advice would you give them when it comes to making that choice?
You need to focus on reputable source. That's the major point. I would ask him to keep looking for the best source of feed in the market. Then have a look into the best supplements you can find, and I obviously recommend Better Farm because we're the oldest and we were the first company actually in the world to develop that such product into this field. So I would ask you to go for the specialists and experts in this game and look for a reputable source of meat or source of feeding or praise. I think you would do have like a good source of products in your facility. Like there's a lot of from SB coming through, like it's really inspected and well checked with by veterinarian authorities, and they're free of diseases and whatnot. So I think this is one of the really key important things to start the handling of the falcon. Then obviously the training and being observative for your animals, and be mindful. This is not a position. This is a companion animal.
What other bird is covered by the Better Farm range? What other kind of nutritional and supplements?
Well, the question is, what other birds not covered by Better Farm?
Amazing.
That's pretty much all the exotic birds you can dream on. You can parrots, flamingos, penguins. What else I can dream of? You can dream for any birds in the world. Like we pretty much cover it.
One-stop shop. But
absolutely, all the birds in the world. Yep.
Mazen, what would be an example of product from Better Farm that is better than an equivalent? Do you ever find falconers trying to give human supplements or designed for another species to their falcons, and why would this be a mistake?
Absolutely. So this is happening all the time. Like there's a cross use of human medicine and other animal medicine like cat and dog in the falcon industry, which we can't blame the falconers at early stages because there was no product. So no such product has to be used for falcon, but we started to come across and develop a specific products for falcon. So for example, the Liver Pro, this is one of the products that we've developed in 2017 or 2018. We found a gap where a lot of the falconers are using human medicine just to support the liver function for the falcon. But obviously you can't give them human medicine because it's different dose rate, different concentration. Human medicine will be made for a human with 60 kilogram, but we're talking about a falcon with 1 kilogram or 2 kilogram maximum. So we started developing a product that specifically catered for that range or this species. Then across the year, we've developed the Falcon Liver Pro powder. Recently, we started to get some compliance requests for some of the markets, and that people would require something with more controlled dose rate as a tablet. So we just released this ADX, a new Liver Pro tablet, which is a controlled drug or controlled supplements with silymarin for falcon. It's adjusted dose for the falcon. You can either give them a half tablet or a full tablet. It's controlled, measured dose rate that can be focused only on falcons, and the dose rate was formulated by veterinarians, like special veterinarians as well. So yeah, I guess that was one of the newest invention that we have this year in ADX.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Mazen, for taking the time to answer all of our questions, because we did have a lot.
Thanks, Hannah.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and we hope to see you.
And it's a pleasure for me. Thank you very much for that. Liver Pro will be available in the UAE this year.